Disney's upcoming live-action adaptation of Snow White has become a hotbed of controversy, with both fans and critics highly skeptical about its potential success. As the film's release date approaches, recent developments, like the launch of pre-release ticket sales and new trailers, have only fueled the debate. The audience response has been overwhelmingly negative, with skepticism growing about whether this adaptation can truly connect with fans, or if it's destined to be another misstep in Disney's string of live-action remakes. One of the most striking aspects of the film's pre-release buzz is Disney's apparent effort to control the narrative. Many fans have noticed the company actively hiding critical comments and replies on social media platforms, particularly on Twitter, now known as X. From harsh critiques to backlash-filled emojis and even Sonic the Hedgehog memes mocking the CGI, Disney has been scrambling to manage the narrative. This has only fueled speculation that the studio is well aware of the growing negativity surrounding the film and is making desperate attempts to keep the backlash at bay. With the controversy reaching new heights, the question remains: will Disney's live-action Snow White manage to win over audiences, or is it destined to be another high-profile failure? The upcoming live-action remake of Snow White has become one of Disney's most hotly debated projects in recent memory. With its March 21st premiere fast approaching, both fans and critics have intensified their scrutiny, and the response hasn't been pretty. Despite Disney's efforts to manage the narrative, the film continues to face overwhelming backlash. Of the most telling signs of this growing discontent is how Disney has handled criticism across platforms. On Twitter, now X, the company has been actively hiding negative replies, emojis, and even memes, particularly those mocking the film's CGI. However, this tactic has backfired, drawing even more attention to the controversy and fueling speculation that Disney is attempting to silence criticism rather than address audience concerns. What's more surprising is that the studio hasn't applied the same level of moderation to its YouTube channel, where the trailer, released just a day ago, has already racked up over 41,000 views and been heavily ratioed, with negative reactions, far outweighing positive ones. The comment section is flooded with mockery and frustration, as many fans voice their disappointment over the direction of the remake. This is just the latest example of a recurring trend, audiences growing increasingly frustrated with Disney's approach to live-action remakes. Many feel the studio is too focused on modernizing classic films in a way that distances them from their original charm. The new Snow White trailer tries to position the film as a faithful tribute to the beloved 1937 animated classic. But fans aren't convinced. They argue that the live-action version strays too far from the source material, pointing to major changes, such as Snow White no longer being a passive princess awaiting her prince. The classic princess tale has been drastically reimagined to align with modern sensibilities. No longer a damsel in distress, Rachel Zegler's Snow White is now depicted as a strong, independent heroine who doesn't need a prince to save her. Meanwhile, Prince Charming has been recast as a completely new character, the leader of a revolution. While Disney intended these changes to modernize the story for today's audiences, they've instead sparked a wave of criticism, with many fans arguing that the remake strays too far from the original film's essence. This growing backlash isn't just about Snow White, it's part of a larger trend surrounding Disney's live-action remakes. Films like Aladdin, The Lion King, and Mulan have all faced similar criticism for altering beloved characters and narratives in an attempt to inject contemporary themes. For instance, in Aladdin, Jasmine's role was expanded to emphasize her independence and leadership ambitions, a change meant to make her more empowering. While some fans appreciated this evolution, others felt it undermined the spirit of the original story. Now, with the upcoming Mufasa prequel also making significant changes, such as altering the backstory of its titular character, Disney finds itself at a critical crossroads. As more fans express frustration over these reimaginings, one question looms large. Is Disney enhancing its legacy, or is it losing touch with what made these classics beloved in the first? Audiences embraced films like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Jungle Book, and The Lion King with open arms. These adaptations were praised for their dazzling visuals and faithfulness to the original classics. However, as Disney continues to rely on these reimaginings, a growing number of fans are starting to lose patience. Many feel that recent remakes have strayed too far from their beloved stories, making unnecessary changes that seem more like forced updates than genuine improvements. This declining enthusiasm is becoming increasingly evident, especially with the upcoming release of Snow White on March 21st. Instead of a grand showcase, the film is receiving minimal screen time at Disney Springs, the company's flagship theater near Disney World in Florida. This decision is particularly surprising, as major Disney films typically receive prominent placements in the venue. Many are interpreting this move as a sign of low confidence from the studio, a theory further supported by Disney's decision to scale back marketing efforts and even cancel the film's UK premiere. Adding to the controversy are the polarizing statements from the film's lead actress, Rachel Zegler. In the months leading up to the premiere, Zegler has faced intense backlash for her remarks about the original Snow White, which she dismissed as extremely dated. Fans of the beloved 1937 classic have accused her of being disrespectful to its legacy, with many suggesting that her words have played a significant role in the film's declining reception. At the same time, Snow White's villain, played by Gal Gadot, has also been drawn into the controversy, albeit for a different reason. As an Israeli actress and former member of the Israeli military, her involvement in the film has ignited political backlash, particularly in light of ongoing tensions between Israel and Palestine. However, the biggest challenge Snow White faces might not be political backlash. It's the waning interest in Disney's live-action remakes. While earlier adaptations were major box office successes, recent efforts like The Little Mermaid and Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny have struggled to meet expectations. Audiences appear to be growing disillusioned with Disney's strategy of rehashing old stories with modern twists that often stray too far from the spirit of the originals. Given this trend, the box office predictions for Snow White aren't exactly encouraging. Industry analysts estimate an opening weekend between $48 million and $58 million, a modest figure compared to past Disney blockbusters. While international markets could help boost revenue, it remains to be seen whether audiences outside the US will be more receptive to the film. With controversy swirling around its lead actors, a cancelled UK premiere, and a questionable marketing strategy, Snow White is shaping up to be one of Disney's most divisive projects yet. Could this be the film that finally forces the studio to rethink its live-action formula? Or will Snow White be yet another example of Disney losing its magic touch? Disney's Snow White is quickly becoming a case study in the challenges of live-action remakes. While these adaptations were once guaranteed box office gold, the increasing backlash suggests that audiences are growing tired of the formula. Fans are making it clear they crave original storytelling and faithful adaptations, not reimagined versions that stray too far from beloved classics. If Snow White fails to meet expectations, it could signal a turning point, one where Disney is forced to reconsider its reliance on nostalgia and instead focus on crafting fresh, innovative content. In the lead-up to its release, Snow White has already become a meme. Across social media, fans are expressing their discontent in the form of jokes and viral posts. One of the most popular memes circulating online features characters like Goku and Vegeta fighting in an empty movie theater,